Divajalam Yatithatavan Vande
Shri Gurum Dinatarinam
Paramananda Madhavam
Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om Tat Sat. She got that garland for you, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a very long garland.
Very long garland.
Who's from?
Who is it from? Offered to any deities? Narshingadev. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will continue with part 2 of the chapter entitled In His Half External Consciousness, Lord Caitanya describes seeing the sporting pastimes in the water. Under the section Rescuing the Lord from the Sea. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela, 18.87.
প্রথমে যুদ্ধে জলাঞ্জলি, তবে যুদ্ধ করাকরি, তার পাছে যুদ্ধ মুখামুখি, তবে যুদ্ধ হৃদারিদি, তবে হইল রদারদি, তবে হইল যুদ্ধ নখানখি।
As the fight began, they splashed water on one another. Then they fought hand to hand, then face to face, then chest to chest, teeth to teeth, and finally nail to nail. Hari bol.
So, Krishna and the gopis are having intense water battle.
So Krishna and the gopis were having intense water battle.
And they were expressing their spontaneous loving ecstasy in this way.
So they were expressing their spontaneous loving ecstasy in this way. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 18.88.
সহস্র করে জল সেকে, সহস্র নেত্রে গোপী দেখে, সহস্র পদে নিকটে গমনে, সহস্র মুখ চুম্বনে, সহস্র বপু সঙ্গমে, গোপী নর্ম শোনে সহস্র কানে।
Thousands of hands splashed water, and the gopis saw Krishna with thousands of eyes. With thousands of legs, they came near him, and they kissed him with thousands of faces. Thousands of bodies embraced him. The gopis heard his joking words with thousands of ears.
So, this is the essence of conjugal love.
So, this is the essence of conjugal love.
But the gopis were expressing their spontaneous attraction to Krishna while performing the water sports.
So, the gopis were expressing their spontaneous attraction to Krishna while performing the water sports.
And Krishna was reciprocating and splashing the water on them.
And Krishna was reciprocating by splashing water at them. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 18.89.
কৃষ্ণ রাধা লইয়া বলে, গেলা কণ্ঠ দগ্ন জলে, ছাড়িলা তাহা যাহা অগাধ পানি, তেহ কৃষ্ণ কণ্ঠ ধরি বাসে জলের পরি গজ উৎখাতে জইছে কমলিনী।
Krishna forcibly swept Radharani away and took her into water up to her neck. Then he released her where the water was very deep. She grasped Krishna's neck, however, and floated on the water like a lotus flower plucked by the trunk of an elephant. Wow.
Krishna was enjoying transcendental pastimes with Radharani,
So Krishna was enjoying transcendental pastimes with Radharani,
taking her to the deep water,
taking her to the deep water,
and then she held on his neck
and then she held on his neck
to avoid sinking in the water.
to avoid sinking in the water.
In this way, Krishna was enjoying his transcendental pastimes.
In this way, Krishna was enjoying his transcendental pastimes. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 18.90.
যত গোপ সুন্দরী কৃষ্ণ তত রূপ ধরি সবার বস্ত্র করিলা হরণে যমুনা জল নির্মল অঙ্গ করে ঝলমল সুখে কৃষ্ণ করে দর্শনে।
Krishna expanded himself into as many forms as there were gopis, and then took away all the garments that covered them. The water of the river Yamuna was crystal clear, and Krishna saw the glittering bodies of the gopis in great happiness.
In the system, one girl should only appear naked before her husband.
The Vedic system, one girl should only appear naked before her husband.
So actually, all the gopis had prayed to have Krishna as their husband,
Actually, all the gopis had prayed to have Krishna as their husband,
and therefore he was fulfilling their desire.
and therefore he was fulfilling their desire.
Also, when Rama stole all the cowherd boys,
Also, when Lord Brahma stole all the cowherd boys,
then Krishna extended himself as the very form of the cowherd boys.
and Krishna expanded himself into into the very form of the cowherd boys.
And at that time, he advised Lord advised Narada Muni to tell the parents that they should marry all their children
So at that time, he advised Narada Muni to tell all the parents that they should marry all their children,
because in those days there was child marriage,
because in those days there was child marriage.
and but actually Krishna was all the god boys,
Actually, Krishna was all the cowherd boys.
and then he had married all the gopis.
When he had married all the gopis.
So all these secrets were happening while Rama took the god boys' wife.
So all these secrets were happening while Lord Brahma took the cowherd boys. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 18.91.
পদ্মিনীলতা সখী চয় কইল কার সহায় তরঙ্গ হস্তে পত্র সমর্পিল কেহ মুক্ত কেশপাশ আগে কইল অধবাস হস্তে কেহ কঞ্চলি ধরিল
The lotus stems were friends of the gopis and therefore helped them by offering them lotus leaves. The lotus leaves pushed their large round leaves over the surface of the water with their hands, the waves of the Jamuna, to cover the gopis' bodies. Some gopis undid their hair and kept it in front of them as dresses to cover the lower portion of their bodies and used their hands as bodices to cover their breasts.
So Lord Chaitanya was half conscious.
So Lord Chaitanya was half conscious.
He's expressing all the other pastimes of Vrindavan that he had seen.
So he is expressing all the water pastimes of Vrindavan that he had seen.
And
Wonderful water.
the Gopis were naturally very shy, and they kept their bodies hidden as much as possible.
So the gopis, naturally, they were very shy and they kept their bodies hidden as much as possible.
So all these things were seen by Lord Chaitanya in that transcendental ecstasy.
So all these things were seen by Lord Chaitanya in his transcendental ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 18.92.
কৃষ্ণের কলহ রাধাসনে গোপীগণ সেই ক্ষণে হেমাব্জবনে গেলা লুকাইতে আখণ্ড বপু জলে পৈশে মুখপাত্র জলে ভাসে পদ্মে মুখে না পারি চিনিতে
Then Krishna quarreled with Radharani, and all the gopis hid themselves in a cluster of white lotus flowers. They submerged their bodies up to the necks in the water. Only their faces floated above the surface, and the faces were indistinguishable from the lotuses.
So Krishna, he would enjoy having this kind of exchanges with Radharani.
So Krishna would enjoy having different kinds of exchanges with Radharani.
Sometimes he quarreled with Radharani
Sometimes he quarreled with Radharani
just to see her expressions of anger.
just to see her expression in anger.
So at this time, the Gopis, they all hid in the lotus flowers.
In this time, the gopis they all hid in the hot lotus flowers, under the lotus flowers. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 18.93.
হেথা কৃষ্ণ রাধাসনে কইলা যে আছিল মনে গোপীগণ অন্বেষিতে গেলা তবে রাধা সূক্ষ্মমতি জানিয়া সখীর স্থিতি সখী মধ্যে আসিয়া মিলিলা
In the absence of the other gopis, Lord Krishna behaved with Srimati Radharani as freely as he desired. When the gopis began searching for Krishna, Srimati Radharani, being of very fine intelligence and thus knowing the situation of her friend, immediately mingled in their midst.
Lord Caitanya was observing all these confidential pastimes,
So Lord Chaitanya was observing all these confidential pastimes,
and he was fully absorbed in love of Krishna.
and he was fully absorbed in love of Krishna.
But sometimes in the Russian water, he would make sounds like "Gurg, gurg, gurg, gurg,"
Sometimes in the water he would make sounds like gurg 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 ocean waters,
because sometimes he would be silent.
because sometimes he would be silent.
While the fisherman was afraid. He thought this was a talking corpse.
So the fisherman was afraid. He thought this is a talking corpse.
And Lord Chaitanya was so intensely absorbed in Krishna's pastimes.
Lord Chaitanya was so intensely absorbed in Krishna's pastimes.
And Radharani, she took advantage of the situation, having fine intelligence,
So Radharani, she took charge of the situation, having fine intelligence,
and she hid in the midst of all the gopis.
and she hid in the midst of the gopis. She took advantage of the situation. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antyalila 18.94.
যত হেমাব্জ জলে ভাসে তত নীলাব্জ তার পাশে আসি আসি করে করয়ে মিলন নীলাব্জে হেমাব্জে ঠেকে যুদ্ধ হয় প্রত্যেকে কৌতুকে দেখে তীরে গোপীগণ
Many white lotus flowers were floating in the water, and as many bluish lotus flowers came nearby, as they came close together, the white and blue lotuses collided and began fighting with one another. The gopis on the bank of the Jamuna watched with great amusement.
Like Krishna, like a blue lotus,
Krishna is like the blue lotus,
and the gopis are like white lotus.
and the gopis are like the white lotus.
The blue and white lotus are fighting with each other.
Blue and white lotus are fighting with each other.
So all these things are poetically presented by Krishnadas Kaviraj.
So all these things are poetically presented by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 18.95.
চক্রবাক মণ্ডল পৃথক পৃথক যোগল জল হইতে করিল উদ্গম উঠিল পদ্মমণ্ডল পৃথক পৃথক যোগল চক্রবাকে কইল আচ্ছাদন
When the raised breasts of the gopis, which resemble the globe-like bodies of Chakravaka birds, emerged from the water in separate couples, the bluish lotuses of Krishna's hands rose to cover them.
These are very confidential, transcendental pastimes.
These are very confidential, transcendental pastimes.
And the gopis are expressing their love for Krishna.
As the gopis are expressing their love for Krishna,
and Krishna is reciprocating his love for them.
and Krishna is reciprocating their love for them, his love for them.
But actually nothing to do on the material world.
Actually, there is nothing to do with the material world. With the material world. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 18.96.
উঠিল বহু রক্ত উৎপল পৃথক পৃথক যোগল পদ্মগণের কইল নিবারণ পদ্ম চাহে লুটি নিতে উৎপল চাহে রাখিতে চক্রবাক লাগি দুহার রণ
The hands of the gopis, which resembled great lotus flowers, arose from the water in pairs to obstruct the bluish flowers. The blue lotuses tried to plunder the white chakravaka birds, and the red lotuses tried to protect them. Thus, there was a fight between two.
So everything is compared to lotuses.
So, here we see everything is compared to the lotuses.
The gopis' hands are like red lotuses.
The gopis' hands are like red lotuses.
Krishna's face like a blue lotus.
Krishna's face is like blue lotus.
Everything is compared to lotus.
Everything is compared to a lotus
Because everything is very beautiful.
because everything is very beautiful.
And how Krishna and the gopis are exchanging loving pastimes
How Krishna and the gopis are exchanging loving pastimes
in the Juna water
in the Jamuna water
is poetically mentioned here.
is poetically mentioned here. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 18.97.
পদ্ম উৎপল চেতন চক্রবাক সচেতন চক্রবাকে পদ্ম আসাদয় ইহা দুহার উল্টা স্থিতি ধর্ম হইল বিপরীতি কৃষ্ণের রাজ্যে ওইছে অন্যায় হয়
Blue and red lotus flowers are unconscious objects, whereas Chakravakas are conscious and alive. Nevertheless, in ecstatic love, the blue lotuses began to taste the Chakravakas. This is a reversal of their natural behavior. But in Lord Krishna's kingdom, such reversals are a principle of his pastimes. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Generally, the Chakravaka bird tastes the lotus flower. But in Krishna's pastimes, the lotuses, which is usually lifeless, taste the Chakravaka bird.
So Lord Krishna in his pastimes
So Lord Krishna in his pastimes,
he is reciprocating with the gopis
he is reciprocating with the gopis
in a very spontaneous way.
in a very spontaneous way.
And thus everybody is completely transcendentally inspired.
So thus everybody is completely transcendently inspired. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 18.98.
মিত্রের মিত্র সহবাসী চক্রবাকে লুটে আসি কৃষ্ণের রাজ্যে হইছে ব্যবহার অপরিচিত শত্রুর মিত্র রাখে উৎপল বড় চিত্র এই বড় বিরুদ্ধ অহংকার
The blue lotuses are friends of the sun god. And though they all live together, the blue lotuses plunder the Chakravakas. The red lotuses, however, blossom at night and therefore strangers or enemies to the Chakravakas. Yet Krishna's pastimes, Yet in Krishna's pastime, the red lotuses, which are the hands of the gopis, protect their Chakravaka birds. This is a metaphor of contradiction. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because the blue lotus flower blossoms with the rising of the sun, and the sun is the friend of the blue lotus, the Chakravaka birds also appear when the sun rises, and therefore the Chakravakas and blue lotuses meet. Although the blue lotus is a friend of the sun, in Krishna's pastime it nevertheless plunders their mutual friend, the Chakravaka. Normally, Chakravakas move about whereas lotuses stand still. But here in Krishna's hands, but here in Krishna's hands, which are compared to blue lotus, attack the breasts of the gopis, which are compared to Chakravakas. This is called a reverse analogy. At night, the red lotus blossoms, whereas the sun in sunlight it closes. Therefore, the red lotus is an enemy of the sun and is unknown to the sun's friend, the Chakravaka. The gopis' breasts, however, are compared to Chakravakas and their hands to red lotuses protecting them. This is a wonderful instance of reverse analogy.
So here in Krishna's land,
So, here in Krishna's land,
everything is reversed.
everything is reverse.
And Krishna's and the gopis are having pastimes which are expressed by reverse analogy.
Krishna is having pastimes with the gopis, which are expressed with reverse analogy. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ante Leela 18.99.
অতিশয়োক্তি বিরোধাবাস দুই অলঙ্কার প্রকাশ করি কৃষ্ণ প্রকট দেখাইল যাহা করি আস্বাদন আনন্দিত মোর মন নেত্রকর্ণ যুগ্ম জুরাইল।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, in his pastimes, Krishna displayed the two ornaments of hyperbole and reverse analogy. Tasting them brought gladness to my mind and fully satisfied my ears and eyes.
So all these reverse analogies
So, all these reverse analogies
were understood by Lord Caitanya,
were understood by Lord Chaitanya,
and he became very happy
and he became very happy
to see all these reverse analogies.
to see all these reverse analogies.
And this is what it was absorbed in the waves of the ocean, of the sea.
So, this is what he was absorbed in the waves of the sea.
And in his half external consciousness,
In his half external consciousness,
he was expressing these things
he was expressing these things
to the associates.
to the associates.
Lord Chaitanya, he's famous that he actually revealed the Madhurya Rasa
Lord Chaitanya, he is famous. He actually revealed the Madhurya Rasa.
in the Sri Sampradaya. They only see the very respectful dasa rasa
In the Sri Sampradaya, they only see the very respectful rasa
and some formal friendship.
in some formal friendship.
But in the pastimes of Krishna, there's Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
But in the pastimes of Krishna, there is Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
And the Pushtinagis of Gujarat, they reveal the pastime of the parents of Krishna.
So the Pushti Margis of Gujarat, they revere the pastimes of the parents of Krishna, reveal.
What Krishna reveals, Lord Caitanya reveals, of how the conjugal pastimes are actually the more uh, vivid and intense.
Lord Chaitanya reveals how the conjugal pastimes are more beautiful and intense.
So he was seeing all these things in his deep meditation,
He was seeing all these things in his deep meditation.
and in his half external consciousness, he was revealing these things
In his half external consciousness, he was revealing these things
to his associates.
to his associates.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This,
Thus, thus ends the chapter entitled In His Half External Consciousness. Lord Chaitanya describes seeing the sporting pastimes in the water under the section Rescuing the Lord from the Sea. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Saki Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Mayapur Chandra ki, Shri Shri Panchatattva ki, Shri Shri